Both loc and iloc are attributes of Pandas data frame used in selecting data, but they differ in how data is being referenced. So in this tutorial, I'll take you through how to use loc and iloc in order to select some portion of your data set in Pandas. So I'll be using Google Colab for this. So make sure you just open your browser and search Google Colab and just start up a new notebook. And over here with Google Colab, most of the libraries are pre-installed, so I'll just import pandas as pd. Hit enter on this, and this is going to run that particular cell. So first of all, we need some data, and when you come to Google Colab, you click here, you see some sample data here which we can read and use. So I'll be using the California housing test.csv. So I'll just copy the path of that data, and what I'll do here to write data path, and in here I'll just paste it right here. So this is the path to my data. I can run this, and I'm sure this works. So I can now continue to read this data set. So I'll use pd.read csv because it's a csv data, and then I'll just give it the data path, and I'll return this as df, which is my data frame. So when I run this now, you can see I've gotten my data set read in, and I can do df.head to get the first 5 rows. So to ensure that my data set is read, I've just run df.head, and you can see I have all my columns here and my rows of data. This gives you the first 5 rows of your data. You can specify the number of rows you want yourself in this particular parenthesis. All right, so now we'll be looking at loc and iloc. So let's say you want to select some portion of this data set. Okay, you want these first 2 columns, right? But you don't want the other column. So that's basically what loc and iloc will help you to do. The only difference between loc and iloc is that loc is label based, right? And iloc is index based. So you give it like numbers. So let's first look at loc. So let's say I want to select these first 2 columns using loc. I'll just do my df.loc, right? And then I bring my square bracket. So inside here I have to type the rows I want to select and the columns I want to select. Is that okay? So if let's say I want to select the first 2 rows, then I can just type, I can just make a list here, another list here, and I say, okay, I want to select the first 2 rows. So I want to select row 0 and 1, right? So 0 and 1. And then you do comma and you bring another square bracket for the column. So which column do you want to select? Then you can put them in string. So I want to select longitude, right? If I'm spelling that right, longitude. And the second column I want to select will be latitude. And this will go ahead and select exactly that for me. So you can see with this big data set, I'm able to select the first 2 rows and the first 2 columns. That's how you put it. So first of all, you give the names or the index of your columns, which you can see right here. We have what 0 and 1, right? So this 2 is what I'm reading, and then you give it the names of the columns you want to read. In my case, it's longitude and latitude right here. You can add more, so you can just give the names of the columns you want to read, and just by doing that, you can see you are able to select some portion of your data using how do we call it, using loc. Okay, so loc is label based. You provide the names of the columns you want to read. And let's say I want to get the whole of the rows here, then I just don't have to bring this whole thing here. All I will do here is to remove this first bracket. I just put this here, and then I hit run. So this will give me the whole of the rows. Okay, so what I'm saying here is that I want the whole rows for these 2 columns. That's just it. Okay, the whole rows for these 2 columns. If I want all the columns, then I can get rid of this here as well, and I'll just put another column here, and this will give me all the rows and all the columns. Is that okay? So that's how you can use loc to get some portion of your data. It's very easy. You can see you bring the square bracket to specify the rows you want and the columns you want as well. This is very easy to do. Just remember that it takes rows and columns, and it takes the column as labels, so the column names. Okay, that's how you can use loc to get some portion of your data. And this is very important because when you are about to train, let's say, machine learning models, you have to segregate your data in what your train set and your test set. So you have to divide this data into some segments. Is that okay? So you can actually divide this data using this particular loc and iloc thing. So now let's move on to how to use iloc. So it's the same thing. We do df dot iloc, right? And in here we bring our square bracket, and with iloc we can do the same thing, but now we can just use numbers. Okay, so let's say with iloc I want to do this exact thing, then I have to provide this 0 and 1. So I'll just do 0 and 1, and in the next one I'll do comma and also bring the same square bracket, but instead of the names here I have to still bring numbers, so the index of this particular column. So the first column is what, then I have to put it here. So let me put 0 comma 1. That means I want the first two columns, and when I run this you can see I got longitude and latitude. You just don't have to put the name, you just put the index of the names of those columns. So you can see it's pretty much the same, the usage is the same. All you have to know is that with iloc I have to provide the numbers, indices, instead of the actual names. Okay, so yeah, that's how simple they work. Let's say you want all the how do you call it, you want all the rows, is the same thing. You can just put this right here and this will give you all the rows. So kind of how it works with loc as well. If you want the whole columns, is the same thing, and you can also get rid of this and put this here and just get the whole data. Is that okay? So that's how it works. So that's how you can use loc and iloc to select portions of your data frame, select some columns you need in your data frame. It's easy. Let me know how you find this tutorial. Also like, share, subscribe, and follow for more. Up until that, I'll see you in the next tutorial.